Howdy. I'm Infinity Solstice, Bright Wizard of Destiny. Welcome to the gallery at Go Organic Sports Ranch. Beside me, I have a silkscreen by my artist friend Manwoman called Sisters of Mercy Dump Truck. So colorful. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. So this blog I call, Can Music Lessons Change the World? Being such a faithful reader of Tom Robbins, whose pen pours forth nothing but pure gold, how can I even pick up a pen? So I plunk on a piano instead. From my experience with music, I've learned to be persistent. I would see or hear a great musician and fall prey to envy or self-debasement, but my mother, having homemade me an Elvis Presley shirt when I was 6 or 7 years old, must have fueled my resolve not to let someone else's talent get in the way of my becoming the rock star of my dreams. So on I write, more music and more words. My first piano teacher was Miss Hensel, a great old gal that would come by the house to give the lessons, each time wearing a different, ornate, intricate, and large hat. After the lesson, my mother would always comment, "That woman, how many hats does she have?" So I learned the basics of music from her, and with Mum's encouragement on the piano bench, I stayed with it for quite a while. Until I said, I want to learn some popular songs. So off I am traipsed to Herb G's place, my next music teacher. He had a small studio out back of his house where the lessons took place. Things went along quite well for a while. I'm now a teenager. How could I ever find time to practice? Then one day Herb says to me, "We should do some warm-up exercises." So he gets behind me, up real close, presses on my lower stomach and a few other weird moves. I'm now just a wee bit uncomfortable, but he does finally finish, and we finish the lesson. He finally stops and we finish the lesson. On the way home in the car with my dad, I tell him about Herb's weird exercises, and that was my last lesson with Presto Strangeo Herb G. It was my first gay encounter. My second was while I was hitchhiking to university. I got picked up in a Cadillac by this short little guy with this wandering eye. He offered me money to do what? I have no idea. I wanted no part of it. "I'll just get out at the next light, thanks." And then, of course, there was Fred, the first person I met in good old Hawaii. But that's a whole other story I'll flesh out at another time. To say I became homophobic would not be quite accurate. But when in the 80s and the 90s it became chic to be gay, they were popping up on TV sitcoms, gay pride parades, LGBTQ. It all had become a little too over the top for me. I don't quite buy it. Enough. Each to their own, and I wish you all the luck in the world. In the last half of the 60s, coffee houses were big in Vancouver, and guitars were even bigger. And me, a piano player, so I took up the guitar. Left behind the old piano in the dust, and started strumming away on a harmony guitar, good for singing around the campfires and at hootenannies. Those are the types of events that were my first public performances. I remember Mark and I played at a neighboring high school. He played a 12-string guitar and me on my harmony 6-string. And a few girls even kind of screamed. My first taste of rock stardom. And I'm not too sure if I ever experienced that again until my adventures on the party bus 40 years later in Golden, BC. Making me not only persistent but a patient musician as well. Ah, the elusive nature of fame and glory. Just saw a documentary on the effects of the Beatles in the Soviet Union. The film claimed that the Beatles may have had more profound influence than anything else in freeing the country from the yoke of state control in every aspect of their lives. They were even arresting people for possessing Beatle albums. No Western influence allowed in those days. It must have been because the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. Long live the Beatles. And long may they live in the hearts and minds of all those Russians and the rest of us sharing this planet. I called CBC a while back, inspired by the youth of the Soviet Union and the length they went to enter the modern world. The radio personality I spoke to, I pressed 2 songs from my album. My album called Visions of Freedom. The songs were called If We Bring the Soldiers Home and the other song War is Over. I mentioned to her that Canada bombed Syria and Iraq on Remembrance Day. So the government had to change Remembrance Day to Veterans Week. And the fact that no one I've ever talked to is interested at all in the warring that is being done in our name, Canadians. Our warplanes have conducted over 100 bombing stories into Syria and Iraq of late. What I would like we as Canadians to do is wise up. Let's create an upwising. My friend Mr. Shaw, this is his favorite word at the moment, upwising, and I like it. I'm pretty sure there has to be 90% support for no more war. War is over. If we bring the soldiers back home today, nobody else has to die. I feel my music would at least partly fuel this upwising. The power of music. It just needs a little airplay. A lot of airplay would be even better, and it might as well be my music. See what these music lessons can get one into? Peace.